It's now 7 o'clock, so welcome everybody to this evening's Economy and Place Scrutiny Committee, being held today, the 19th of March 2026. Item 1 is apologies. I have received a number of apologies. I've received apologies from Councillor Burnett Faulkner, and she is welcomely substituted by Councillor Mark Holland. Councillor Robert Bentley-Smith, and he has been substituted by Councillor Nick Crisp. Councillor Jill Waring, who is substituted by Councillor Simon Jones. And I've received apologies from Councillor Edgington Plunkett. No more apologies. So we will move to item 2, declarations of interest. Do any members have any declarations of interest on the items of business tonight? That's a clear no. Item 3 is minutes of the previous meeting. These minutes can be found on pages 3 to 6 of your agenda. Can we agree them as a correct record, or are there for discrepancies? No. No, Councillor Gordon instead of Gorton in them. I didn't notice them earlier. So that's agreed. Item 4 then is the first item of business, which is the Newcastle under Lyme Borough Local Plan. This update and this report is found on pages 7 to 12 of your agenda. I would like to ask if Craig or Alan will come in and present the report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members. As a reminder, the local plan was submitted for examination in December 24, and it's been in examination ever since. So we had hearing sessions through May and June of last year. And then as a consequence of those hearing sessions, there were a number of changes proposed by us following some steer from the inspector. And we consulted on those changes in a stage called the main modifications consultation at the back end of last year. And that ended on the 17th of December. And we had 197 representations from 71 respondents. All of those comments and a subsequent consultation report summarising the council's response to those comments were sent on to the inspector. We are now awaiting the inspector's report, and we understand that we will receive that in the next few weeks or month. Once received, the council will then publish that report, and that will represent the end of the examination. And that will then be considered at full council for consider future adoption. But we do recognise that the local elections may have implications in terms of when that report is received. So, Chair, I think that was it in terms of the local plan update.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Craig, do you wish to add anything? Okay, before I open it up to the floor, basically, so the report from the inspector will, I can only assume, be brought for July's full council, as opposed to the one in May being the AGM and the mayor making, etc., etc. Have a special council in June. Is that what you're saying?
We've put it. Sorry. We put it on the forward plan for June for that, so it's a marker for the next administration. Right. So it needs to, so at least it is, people are aware that it needs to come to council should they, whatever administration is in place, if they wish to do that.
Well, let's clear things up. Any questions for our officers? No. Okay, so can we agree the recommendations in the report then for the updates of the local plan? Yes, so carried, good. Item 5 then is the Town Deal and Future High Street Funds update. This report is found on pages 13 to 26 of your agenda. I will first hand over to Councillor Sweeney and followed by our officer Simon McKenny.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll have a bit of a flying look through this because it's all on the report. And it's quite an exciting time now in Newcastle because all the stuff that we've been talking about for the last 2 years, things are actually starting to happen. We even had a crane on site. Not one of those great big monstrous things you see on James Bond films, but nonetheless a crane. And you can see if you look at the what was York Place, you can see the new steel framework that's gone up by that. Anyway, all the high street funds basically gone out of the system now. I'm just going through this. Astley Place, there's good photos here. You can see the work they're doing on it. I'm going to take my glasses off, I'm afraid, so I can't read this. McCarthy and Stone looking to start in 2026. Completion late 2027. Capital Centre Rye Park development. They've already started now with Henry Boot doing the work on that. You can see the work as you go along. There's pictures there. The most exciting thing I think is, as I always keep saying, this is the car park. And I think we're getting a lot of national interest. Let's be eyes, sorry. We're getting a lot of national interest on this on BBC and things like that. So I think, and I say this every time, I think when this is done, if Capital Centre can pull this off with ourselves, I think this will be a place that people will come to Newcastle to see what you can do with these 1960s, 70s car parks. So really exciting. Good pictures in here. You can see the work they're doing. They're cutting out the middle of the section now for the atrium in. So that's coming on. I'm sure Councillor Grocott would like to see these pictures of Nutton and Chesterton. Nice colour photos. They're coming on. One of them is nearly finished, I think, isn't it? So that's really good news. We're finally getting towards the end of the units in Nutton. There's been a major problem with electrics, I think, and now the county council finally got that sorted. So that should be coming on pretty soon. Planning permission has gone through the enterprise units on Zanzibar. The Chatterley Valley, which is a massive scheme. Now, we started off, we were talking about 1,800 jobs for this, and you think, you start off on 1,800, no, it's going to be a bit less. Well, I don't think it is. I think that's the sort of figure we're looking at. So that's 1,800 jobs in the borough. So that's all good news, and that's coming on. The rest of the Kids Crow stuff, I'll pass over to Officer, and he can fill in on the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So the train station works, they're still working on the designs for that now that we've got to an agreement with Network Rail that we will design and build outside the remediation zone. So it's less ground, well, there'll be no groundwork. So EWR and Network Rail are working on that. We're hoping that we'll get something out of them in the next couple of months so we can actually agree as a board and press the go. Canal pathways, the Canals and River Trust have been on with that. There's an extension that they're now working on as part of the realignment of some of the funding that we went through last year. The King's Academy Community Learning Hub is being worked up. They've got a full programme of activity and they're working on the design so they can get a planning permission in for that for purely community learning. It won't be a school facility for teaching of pupils. I think that's a misconception in the community. So we need, and the school are very clear that it'll be accessed separately from the school and completely cut off, although there will be access from the school. It will not be a school facility. The enterprise units for the Meadows is going to planning next week, I think, or the week after. So that we've got a price for that now, so we can, once we've got planning, we should be able to crack on with that. Highways improvements, we've been speaking with Staffordshire County Council about when we can start the works on the Meadows, Station Road, Heathcote Street and the King Street Parade, because all of that needs to be tightly coordinated because we can't do too much and bring Kidsgrove to a standstill, but that's all been priced and that will be starting hopefully in the summer. And then just on, if I can just flip back to Chatterley Valley, just to the developers Harworth have got heads of terms, which is the first legal stage of securing a tenant out for 4 of those units. The 2 biggest ones have both got heads of terms, and Steve mentioned the number of jobs, and it's always been a question mark whether they'll actually be delivered, but one of them will be delivering over 1,000 employment opportunities in that area, in that building, etc. So Harworth are working really hard to secure that tenant, and once you find that one tenant's coming in, you tend to find that the rest of the buildings fill up quite quickly. So everything's finished in terms of the roads and the platforms. It's just a matter of signing. We also got some planning permission also to make the buildings higher at one end because some tenants want a high bay. So we've got all of that ready for a prospective tenant and Harworth to build those out hopefully towards the end of this year.
Okay, thank you to both. Any questions for our officers or for Councillor Sweeney? Councillor Gorton.
Thank you, Chairman. At the last meeting in December, I asked the Deputy Chief Executive about the progress with Astley Place, and he said we are making progress. And I think it's very evident over recent weeks how much work has been done, and it's great to see that steel frame going in. The other project that I wanted to highlight is, and I still insist on calling it the Midway, although I think it's referred to as something else in the report, but to me it will always be the Midway. And I think, Chairman, it's great to look across from Morrison's car park and to actually see the scaffolding around that building and to know that things are happening. It's an ambitious project. I think it's a project that the committee recognises not without risk, but it's certainly a risk worth taking. And I really do wish that project particular success, because to me, I think it's also about civic pride. So yeah, I really wish the authority particular success with that one. Thank you.
Thank you. The Astley Place, the crane arrived on Monday and they've put the frame up on the first half overlooking the cenotaph this week, and that's the full height that the building will be, and the building will be watertight by June, so they can then start to crack on with the internal bits and bobs, with an opening next January 27. And car park, as it's going to be called by the developer who will be running it, they've covered it in scaffolding just because of the sheer extent of work that needs to be done and to protect the road, etc. But their crane, and we're all very excited about this, and it will be a big crane, Steve. It's going to be like what they call a tower crane. That will be arriving on site in May, I think it is. I think I wrote down, we had a site meeting. It's not without its challenges because it's a complicated building, but they're cracking on. There's big holes developing, being built for the atrium, for the lift and stair wells that need to go in, etc. But there's a really good team on site that are building it. So, and that's due for completion in May 27.
Yes, thank you, Richard, for your kind remarks. Any other members have any remarks or questions? No, in that case, then I shall get straight to the point. Are the committee happy to note the report and agree with the recommendations that have been set out? Councillor Sweeney.
Yes, I'd like to thank you for those words there, Councillor Gorton. I'm equally excited by it. I know I keep saying about it, but I just think it's absolutely fantastic. If it comes off, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. So I've got no reason to think it won't come off. I think I say every local authority in the country will be coming and have a look at Newcastle under Lyme. Thank you.
So if we're all agreed, we'll move on to the next item of business, which is the work programme. This is found on pages 27 to 32 of your agenda. We'll just quickly scroll to it now, which we have obviously coming up is the car parking strategy is a future item. It hasn't got a date. Anybody wish to add to the work programme? No, not so much. Anything on the car parking strategy, Mr. McKenna?
Not for public consumption at this moment, Chair.
Okie doke then, that's that. So then, item 7 is public question time, which we don't have, and item 8 is urgent business, which I've not been made aware of any. So before I will close the meeting, I would like to give thanks to our officer, Craig Jordan, who will be shortly leaving us after many years working for Newcastle under Lyme Borough Council. I would like to give thanks. I'm sure the rest of the committee will echo this. So thanks for all your hard work that you've done for us over the years, working, well, not only for helping me, but every other councillor that's come to you and within the planning department. So thank you very much, Craig.
Thank you, Chair, for your kind words. Not leaving Newcastle because I necessarily are unhappy with Newcastle. It's just personal circumstances that gives me the opportunity to take early retirement, effectively. So I've been in local government now for about 36 years. So I've enjoyed my experience, and I've enjoyed working with yourselves as well. So thank you. Cheers.
A round of applause, I think, for. Okay, that concludes the meeting then for tonight. All that's left for me left to say is, hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and have a safe journey home. Good night.